How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern. A very busy show here today. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Smackdown is tonight. AW Rampage is tonight. And a lot of other stuff going on. Final Battle is going to be tomorrow. And we'll talk about that here today on the program. We've got the lineups for SmackDown and Rampage, and we've got a lot of health-related news. We've got updates on Chris Jericho, whose Fozzy concert was canceled. He was hospitalized. As well as Bandido, who is off Final Battle tomorrow after testing positive for COVID-19. Tony Khan's going to be helping out the show tomorrow. We've got updates on Kairi Sane. The former Kairi Sane's WWE contract has expired. AEW Dynamite ratings from Wednesday night. The show did quite well, especially if you're named MJF. We've also got updates on a Rey Mysterio cartoon, and SmackDown is noted. A lot of stuff to get into here today. In the final segment of the show, JERVIS Cottonbelly is going to join us today. We have a lot to talk to Gentleman Jervis about. That's coming up in the final segment of the show today. And if you want to text us, if we have time, and we've not had time of late to take a lot of text messages or emails, 425-780-7566 is the number. That is 425-780-7566. Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com, at Bryan Alvarez on Twitter. Hopefully we'll be getting back to normal here soon. We've had a guest every single day this week except yesterday, if I recall correctly. So it's been very, very busy, but we'll get into everything as we get going here today. Mike Sempervive joins us after the break. Big hello to everybody watching along on Twitch, YouTube, and of course listening Sports Byline USA and the mightier 1090 AM. Heading to a break. Back in just a moment to kick off the show, Wrestling Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Very busy show today. Let's not waste any time. We got a lot to get into here. A Friday concert by Chris Jericho's band Fozzy was canceled due to what the promoter called, quote, a non-COVID-related treatable health issue for Jericho. While he is sick, it is not considered serious, and he may still be fine to perform on Saturday in Nottingham, England, and Sunday in London. Jericho sent a message to Dave Meltzer that said, I'm feeling good. They just wanted to observe me overnight. I'm in the right place, not COVID-related. So hopefully everything's great, and he'll be back touring again on Saturday and Sunday. If you've been following him on Instagram, seems to be having the time of his life on this tour all over the UK. So all the best to Chris Jericho. And we've also got a COVID-related health issue, which is Bandido. He is missing Final Battle on Saturday after testing positive for COVID-19. He will not be at the show tomorrow. He was scheduled to defend the world title against Jonathan Gresham on the show. So on the final Ring of Honor Final Battle ever, at least in this current incarnation, has lasted over 20 years. The champion is off the show because of COVID-19. So I guess we'll see what happens. Tony Khan said he will be helping out Ring of Honor for the show on Saturday. He said he wishes the company the best and, quote, I'll be doing some things to support them in their last show to make it a good show for them. He didn't clarify, nor was asked, what that entailed, but it is assumed to be talent. That's a pretty good assumption.
Well, yeah, considering they have announced the talent, it seems like Jay Lethal is the person that has replaced Bandido as the opponent for Jonathan Gresham. No word on whether that is going to be a championship match yet. So, also, I guess of note, too, for those of you who wanted to see Bandido on the West Coast Pro Show, he obviously is off that as well. He was supposed to face ACH. He is now being replaced by Ray Orris. So those are the two updates on Bandido and who's going to be filling in for him. And Jay Lethal, a legacy superstar of Ring of Honor, coming back. I know a lot of people, well, what about Daniel Bryan? What about Bryan Danielson? What about CM Punk? It ends up being Jay Lethal, who just left there not all that long ago.
Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham. I was presuming going in that Jonathan Gresham was going to win the Ring of Honor title, and I would suspect the same thing is going to happen with Jay Lethal as opponent. We've got Roxy versus Willow Nightingale for the women's title. We've got Dalton Castle, Rhett Titus, Silas Young, and Joe Hendry for the World Television title. 6-man titles on the line. Shane Taylor Promotions versus Vincent Bateman and Dutch. And then, of course, we have got Josh Woods on the show. We have got OGK versus the Briscoes. Kenny King versus Shane Taylor. Taylor Russ and Tracy Williams versus Brody King, Homicide, and Tony Deppen. Eli Isom actually is teaming with Taylor Russ and Tracy Williams. Chelsea Green, Allison Kay, Marty Bell versus Angelina Love, Mandy Leon, and Miranda Alizé. And Dragon Lee versus Ray Horace. So that's the full lineup for the show tomorrow. They got 11 matches announced for the show. One of them is a pre-show match, so 10 matches on the main show tomorrow night. So you can check that out, Fight.tv, Honor Club, etc., etc. All the best to everybody in Ring of Honor for the end of a 2-decade-long era. And as I've noted before, I mean, shouldn't say everybody. There are people that think this is the end, but among the people within Ring of Honor who would have to know whether or not it's the end, they are working towards the WrestleMania 2022 weekend. So if it is the end, nobody that needs to know knows about it. They are proceeding as if everything that was said about the end of this era of Ring of Honor is in fact true. They are going dark after this show. Everybody will be a free agent. They are going to spend several months revamping into, I guess, a super indie. I have no better way to describe it. And they will relaunch on WrestleMania weekend with shows. And from that point forward, I guess we'll see what the new Ring of Honor is all about. But they will continue to have television on Sinclair. I think it's going to be a bunch of best of shows for a couple of months, and then they'll be taping for the television show. So we'll see what this all means over the next 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, not really a whole lot to add to that. You pretty much said it all right there. They're going to be doing best of shows, and everything kind of aims towards WrestleMania weekend. This company can still function as an independent, as a super indie, as you said, because of having Sinclair support behind them. And you never know. Maybe this is actually, in the landscape of things, their best case scenario. GCW is a company that operates without contracts, without the guise of contracts, and they're just trying to sell themselves on iPay-per-view. You have Impact, who's very lucky in the fact that they have a television station behind them. They're looking to try to make some waves and hammer some things home. So maybe it's better that Ring of Honor operates more like a super indie. Maybe he only has 6 people under contract or something like that, or with long-term deals that they can kind of bank their television and all their events around, kind of moving forward. But we see it with PWG. We see it with a lot of other places. Sometimes there's a benefit to being able to call on whoever you can at the moment, whoever's hot, that you take advantage of.
This person said, if someone would have told me back in 2010 that Impact would be in a better place in Ring of Honor, I would ask what drugs you were on. Well, this is arguable who's in the better spot right now. Because, quite frankly, Ring of Honor is going to have a much stronger TV than Impact. Impact, what they have going for them is they have wrestlers under contract, and it is much easier to book long-term television storytelling when you have people under contract than when you don't. But as a promotion that is going to have weekly television, strong weekly television, at least stronger than Access TV, they're both going to have their shows available on the internet for free. And Ring of Honor, as a probably very well-paying super indie, is going to have the pick of anybody that is allowed to work Ring of Honor for big shows. So I'm not sure that I would say that Impact is in a stronger position than Ring of Honor. I would say, well, we'll find out come WrestleMania weekend. But, I mean, in a lot of ways, they're on somewhat of an equal playing field. And in some ways, Ring of Honor is on a stronger playing field.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe Impact will be able to benefit from this for those people that are looking for security, and those people, if you're trying to work towards a contract and making sure you have a steady paycheck every week and you want some security and some stabilization in your life, maybe that's the way that you want to go. Everybody's got different goals to try to work for, and one beneficial thing to both of those companies is they're owned by massive media operations. I'm not sure exactly what the level of Anthem is, but they were big enough certainly to buy their own station to put Impact on. So that's what they've got going for them. And obviously, like you mentioned with Ring of Honor, having Sinclair behind them and having contracts freed up, you have a lot of money to throw at people during weekends. And who knows what that does to the landscape for valuable weekend space. If Ring of Honor starts throwing around a whole bunch of money, what does that do for your Defy that weekend, your Beyond, your GCWs, your other people out there? Do you try to match that? What direction do you try to go? So who knows what this landscape's going to be? It's certainly a unique situation.
Kairi Sane's WWE contract has expired. She is now a free agent. WWE wanted to renew her deal and have her return to the company, but she did not want to live in the U.S. or travel during the pandemic. Moved to Japan in the summer of 2020 to be with her husband. In February, she asked for permission to work on Stardom's Budokan Hall event in March, but the request was denied. That was like when you ask something of WWE and they deny it. Then they ask something of you, and how dare you not? How dare you not resign?
And you want AEW, it's okay for AEW to put their guys on those documentaries. The hell with them.
What in the world difference would it make if you worked at Stardom show?
Exactly.
But anyway, her last match was a July 2020 win over Bayley on Raw. Hopefully she start working for Stardom now, and who knows? Maybe when this pandemic's over, go to AEW. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Dynamite Wednesday. 872,000 viewers on TNT, up 1.3% from last week. Still the second lowest audience for the show since July 7, 18 to 49. Fifth on cable, 0.33, which is up 6.5% from last week. Show's best rating in the demo since November 17. Main competition was, as usual, the NBA basketball game on ESPN. Early game started before Dynamite, ran head-to-head for most of the show. 1.26 million viewers, 0.5 in 18 to 49. It's the second straight week Dynamite has had a 20% decline year-over-year in the demo. Show recently had a stretch where 19 out of 20 weeks had a year-over-year increase. And then we've got all of the other info here. I don't know if you've been on MJF's Twitter, but he's bragging about his numbers. And an irritating thing is he is right about them. He did outdraw CM Punk. The Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. What did he write here? Look at this bloke. Let's see. Oh, All Elite Wrestling on TNT gave him Wrestler of the Week. He's retweeting all of these demos here about how well he did. So all we need to do is feed this guy his ego. Here we go. Beat CMP in the ratings. Shocker. He put in unnecessary quotation marks, I might add. So now we're never going to hear the end of this one. And what's worse, I think that he is one of the biggest movers in all of professional wrestling right now in terms of the ratings. So we'll never hear the end of that one. But anyway, it's a number. Despicable Long Island. Anyway. Hey, you know Rey Mysterio's got a cartoon coming?
No, does he?
Yeah. Animated series starring Rey Mysterio is coming to the Cartoon Network Latin America next year. It was announced on Thursday, Rey Mysterio vs. The Darkness will premiere on Cartoon Network Latin America in 2022. 10 episodes, English and Spanish language versions of the first episode aired at the end of the Cartoon Network Latin America's announcement on YouTube, but the videos have since been made unavailable. Tells the story of Oscar, a wrestling fan, who will team up with his idol Rey Mysterio to face supernatural beings and fight against the forces of evil. Villains from the world of wrestling and characters from Mexican traditions and the world of fantasy. Who will be seen in the same place at the same time first? Rey Mysterio and Oscar? Or myself and Oreo the Orca? I guess we'll have to find out. There's a bad guy, Ouroboros, an evil fighter who uses dark forces that he does not fully understand. So I think that must be played by Boa. Rey and Oscar must work together to do their best to defend the city. Well, that's good that they're working together to do their best. Often I work together with people, like Mike, for example, to do our worst. But Rey Mysterio and Oscar will do their best together, and they will defend the city and themselves from his evil plans. Do you really have to defend yourself from plans? You actually have to defend yourself from whatever's happening as a result of those plans, right? Anyway, good thing they just bury this guy right and left on WWE television. Maybe he'll get a win one of these days to promote his show. I kill myself sometimes. Hey, we got Smackdown tonight, Mike? Or do you want to talk more about Rey Mysterio and Oscar?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Entertain me here.
You seem to be entertaining yourself today a whole lot here, going through some of these stories. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, my jacket says Elite. It says Cascade Elite. I was Elite before Elite was cool. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, neither one of you are cool, but, when it gets right down to it, as long as this is helping out Oscar Gutierrez's, the man who is Rey Mysterio, as long as it's helping out his bottom line, who cares if WWE promotes it? They're not going to promote it anyway. They didn't promote The Miz on, Dancing with the Stars. They don't promote people.
Actually, what's ironic about that? When they finally did promote Miz on Dancing with the Stars, I think that was the week that he lost.
Yeah, because
I think they were better off not promoting him.
No, it's because it's over. It's because they probably knew.
No, they promoted him all the way until he got eliminated. I think the week that he got eliminated was the week they asked for you to vote. And then he got eliminated. It's like everyone tuned in and went, "Oh, I like that person better."
But I mean, who cares? Who cares if they promote it or not? As long as it's good for him, it doesn't matter what WWE. In fact, it's good. Who cares if they can keep burying him on TV? Just again, why? What does it matter? What's the benefit of WWE promoting this? What does it matter if he wins on TV? Who
Did
cares?
You just ask me, Mike Sempervive, what is the value of WWE promoting his cartoon?
Well, for a Cartoon Network Latin American show aimed at kids who are between the ages of 8 and 13. None of those people are watching WWE anyway,
well,
are
there's
they?
some.
Are they?
They have parents that are in charge of the clicker.
So
My kid doesn't know anything about TV. I have to find it and show it to her.
Look, if you're watching this as a parent, you're probably going, hey, look, Rey Mysterio, he's got a cartoon. WWE doesn't use him right. Let me see this awesome cartoon that they got going on if they're that worried about it. If those people have the clicker, I don't think it's going to work in the opposite direction where they go, hey, God, kid, this kid's getting... this guy gets buried on TV every week. We can't watch this loser. We're going to turn on Nickelodeon or whatever it is and see what's on there. I don't think that's going to happen.
By the way, to you folks, I don't like to use these sorts of terms, but you stand up for WWE marks? Have you seen what's on Smackdown tonight?
No.
Well, what I remember is about 3 weeks ago, I was told that Smackdown was the one time per year that Raw and SmackDown superstars face each other head-to-head. Well, here we are. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks now, and the Usos will be facing The New Day and RK Bro on the show tonight. Well, that's kind of weird. What's a Raw team doing wrestling a match on SmackDown? Well, they are. And you're gonna take it, and you're gonna like it.
Sure, they'll have an excellent explanation for why this is taking place.
We've also got Charlotte versus Toni Storm non-title, and Naomi faces Sonya Deville. I've heard that before. And the debut of Xia Li tonight at the Staples Center for SmackDown.
Is Xia Li going to help avenge Naomi from all of this hate and bias that's taking place? And why isn't the Bloodline taking Naomi in? I'm still not sure I understand this. That Roman Reigns has people just shaking in their boots, the Usos standing at his side, just have Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville just do their bidding for them. But yet they can't get Naomi out of this mess that they got going on with Sonya. I find this to be a problem.
Well, this will be the final WWE show ever in this venue before it officially changes its name to Crypto.com Arena.
It's a terrible name. Stupid name. Horrible name. Not going to call it that. Don't care.
Well, actually, we will call it that because that's going to be its name.
You can call it that.
Bro, when's the last time you went to a Staples?
I don't know.
You know why? You know why it's got that name you don't like? Because Staples is kaput. And meanwhile, crypto is to the moon. That's Cameron Grimes.
It's happening right now, is it?
Yeah, you should see what my MJF coin's doing right now.
Oh, yeah? How is that doing now?
Horrible. but I think he screwed me somehow.
Yeah, Doge, buddy. That's all you got there. You got a poor imitation of Doge with the MJF coin. You got swindled. You got bamboozled. You got taken. You can't admit that. That's really why you're upset. That's why you had that pain in your voice earlier on talking about MJF and his ratings. It's really not about the ratings. It's about your pocketbook getting taken for a ride by all those people, isn't it?
No, I didn't get taken for a ride. I did it for the show.
Oh, is that what you did?
I didn't sit here going, I got an extra few $100 lying around. Oh, I know a great investment opportunity, MGF coin. I thought, what? Here's something new. And yeah, I got a lot I can write off on my taxes. Maybe I should thank him.
Yeah.
Let's look at what these people are telling us here today in the thing. Johnny Gargano has already opened back his PWT store, started a Twitch and a YouTube on day one of free agency. I don't think he's going back to WWE. Bro, he may not go back to WWE. I don't know. But I do believe that he's not making a decision for a couple of months now because he's about to have a child. And perhaps he's going to see what's offered elsewhere, see what's offered. He would be a fool to not see what's being offered elsewhere. And he'd also be a fool to not see what WWE is going to offer him. And by the way, as far as like a Twitch and a YouTube and that sort of thing, I mean, Adam Cole had a Twitch forever when he was in NXT. Because for whatever reason, and perhaps it's changed because Triple H is gone, but you are not allowed to have a Twitch channel in the main roster. But you could have a Twitch channel if you were in NXT. So provided that he stays with NXT, I mean, he can keep his Twitch channel. And I don't know what kind of money he's going to make from PWTs, but one would think that he would stand to earn significantly more with his shirts on WWE Shop than he would at PWTs. But I don't know. So the point of this is, yeah, he may leave, but he also may not leave. And if you're one of those people that's 100% that he's doing one or the other, it's not 100%. That's it.
Taking advantage of his time. Why not open up this store? Why not have this stuff ready to go? Whether you go back or not, it's there for you. So you're not under contract right now. Continue to make some money. Get some super cheers or wherever the hell it is. Get people to subscribe to your channel. Get people to buy your T-shirts. Your wife's under contract. You're there for her. To me, this just makes sense whether you go back or not. Take advantage of your opportunities, for heaven's sakes.
Man, look at this confidence in here. Same confidence from everybody saying that Braun Breaker was going to be screwed up.
Oh, Bryan, stop. You're trying to mishmatch issues. No,
I'm not. They are so overconfident.
Here.
No, it's not. It's not a scarecrow anyway. Scarecrow argument.
Whatever it
What
is.
are you, a bird?
What do you call that there?
A straw man.
Straw man. It's a much harsher term that I can't use on the radio that I don't want to get in trouble for, but that's what your argument is right there. It's a BS mix mash that doesn't even make any sense. Braun Breaker going to get broken up and come on,
All right,
man.
Get out of here. We got to get Jervis
Stupid.
On. Get some happiness on this
End
show.
this.
Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Gentlemen, Jervis Cottonbelly is joining us here today. Jervis, how are you doing?
Hello, Bryan Alvarez. Oh, I'm so happy to be back. And hi there, Mike. I'm doing lovely. How are both of you?
I'm doing well. It's been many years, Jervis.
It has been a few years, hasn't it?
Yes, it certainly has. What's happening?
Well, I actually brought a friend with me today. I've kept him, in his cage for a while because he's not always very nice. But may I introduce my friend Kevin Condren?
Sure.
Oh, Kevin, well, come here now.
Hello. Hi. Bryan Alvarez. This is Kevin Condren. How are you?
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I'm really great. I have, me and Jervis, we kind of have we share the same body. So it's been really, and I'm just happy to be, he's let me out of the cage. I'm getting out. I'm kind of, sharing my story, talking to the world now.
Excuse me,
also,
Kevin. Well, hold on a minute.
Yes.
Did you say that you and Jervis share the same body?
That is right, Bryan. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but the thing is, we both have different philosophies about how to succeed in professional wrestling and about what professional wrestling needs. Jervis thinks that it needs kindness, gentleness, acceptance, friendship, love, and I believe that it needs fierceness, toughness, drive, motivation, and most of all, truth.
Kevin, before we go back to your friend Jervis, I have a question for you. Is it true that you were the founder of Squared Circle on Reddit? Is that true?
Yes, that is true. I am their father, and I am their mother. And we've been there the whole time, watching in the background. Jervis, pipe down, please. We've been there the whole time in the background. This was started before I was ever even in wrestling, before I was trained. I was just a fan.
So now we have heat because this Squared Circle.
Do you apologize to us for all these nasty things?
This Squared Circle has not been very kind to me.
Hey, me neither. I don't know if you've seen the threads, but I got my identity stolen last year, and they came with the pitchforks and the torches. They're not my biggest fan either. They love Jervis though. Oh, that's so nice. You know, they do kind of like me, but Kevin is not really a. You know, he's persona non grata there.
Oh, join the club. Jervis, what do you think? Why do they love you on Squared Circle? Is it do you kill them with kindness?
Well, I kill them with kindness, but also I think a big part of it is that I'm accessible. You know, I open my heart,
I'm definitely not accessible.
Mind, and I open my DMs, and I connect with fans. I think that the mark of a successful wrestler is relatability.
Excuse me, Jervis Cottonbelly. Relatability.
Yes, indeed, relatability. Do you not think I'm relatable, Bryan?
Well, I don't know if I would say you're not relatable, but I've not met a lot of folks on the online wrestling community much like you, Jervis.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment, and I think that's very sweet. But when I say relatable, what I mean is that I often share my struggles, you know, the things that get me down in life and
sure.
things I have to overcome. And what I've found is that wrestling fans and audience members and other makers of wrestling, whether it be journalists or videographers, well, they have similar struggles. And because of that, we can all relate to each other. And it makes for a really beautiful, community, if you will.
I got to get back to the negative part of the community real quick, because you mentioned, wait. Now, let me get this straight. Was it Kevin or Jervis? Which one of you got your identity stolen? I'm assuming
Kevin.
It was Kevin. I was assuming it was Kevin there. And Jervis, please, if you could beg my some indulgence here for a second. Kevin, what happened and what has that been like? Because those are always like torturous stories I've heard for people that this has happened to, and you are in, the public eye. What was that like? What has it been like for you? Are you still suffering the effects of this?
That's a really good question, Mike. I'm glad you asked. I had my identity stolen. Being like a Y-list celebrity makes it so that enough people recognize you to be able to say, hey, that's an identity I'd like to assume, but not enough people recognize you to think, oh, that's someone I've seen on television. Most of the time I've been on TV, I've been under a hood. But when it was a Chikara fan that stole my identity, according to him, because I did eventually get in touch with this person, what happened was someone tweeted that, gentlemen, it's something to the effect of, I'm tired of keeping this a secret. Gentleman Jervis sends, and we'll just say salacious photos to my friend in England, and he pressures them and blames his mental health when they don't send them back. And that, it rocked my world completely. And wrestling fans believed it, and because I didn't know where it came from, I had no idea. I didn't answer it. I didn't respond to it because I was digging. I started texting every person I knew, every relationship I'd ever had, everything. I was asking people, did I cross any lines? Did I offend you? Did I hurt you? The exact thing I was accused of, I don't do. And so that was something I was like, well, this is coming from somewhere. After about a month, I had a girl that was not related to the wrestling industry at all, had used some reverse image software, not Google reverse image search, but something she had to buy. And she found my true profile, and she came to me and said, some guy is using your identity to get lots of money, lots of nudes from women all over the country. And they had identified about 8 different women who were victims of this character who was, I guess he was actually in Oklahoma, is where we pinpointed the location.
made police reports, did the whole 9 yards. I contacted the FBI because he was soliciting thousands of dollars, not just hundreds, or something, in my image, right? And nothing came of it. Police never responded. Like, nothing ever came of it. But what did come is one of the victims made a video that she submitted to MTV's Catfish. So she included her story, my photos, and that by her posting that, wrestling fans were like, okay, wait, this is a mistake. Jervis didn't do this thing. But if I could tell you what my inbox looked like the month between like January 2020 and February 2020 when the truth came out, it was a lot of stuff like, hey, Jervis, go kill yourself, and like really strong, like some death threats, some just really, really crazy stuff that like was it was just so over the line, but in order to, part of what you're hearing now of hearing, this dual identity is I've got to protect Jervis because I wasn't able to at that time. There was no way for me to make that right without stepping out of character and then explaining, hey, this is what's really going on. But it rocked my foundations, and it made me question just in general, like, what do I even want out of wrestling and fame and being known by people? What does it mean? But it was, I'm still definitely feeling some of the effects, and I've lost some trust in the community, but I also, I think that comes with the territory.
Well, I was going to say, have you answered that question yet, or is that still a voyage actually that you're on right now as you continue to appear obviously on the whole UWN thing? You are on TV that's accessible, and you are obviously continuing your career and helping out Jervis continue his career. But I mean, have you answered that question yet over all of this? How shaken up are you, and how has it affected your trust in promoters and really dealing with fans who now more than ever you rely on directly for merch and things like that? It's so easy now to interact with your fans and to sell yourself to your fans, but obviously this is the alter effect of that. The other effect of that is what you're going through. Where are you at right now with all this?
Well, it's affected my trust, but the thing about it is this: wrestling fans, there have been so many bad actors in wrestling that fans are on edge, right? And they want to make sure that people with bad intentions are removed from the community. I feel that way too. I've been duped by them. I've worked for them. When you find this stuff out about somebody, the reaction is visceral and it's strong. So I understood the anger of wrestling fans, but what frustrated me is there wasn't even an accuser. There was somebody who said, I know a person that this happened to, and that was all it took. The rest was exacerbated by a few people that go out of their way to make my life miserable, and they do this. They've done this for about 8 years now. Like, there's a small group of people who just don't like me, and they exacerbated this whole thing, and it got way out of hand. But the majority of the wrestling community they have good intentions in their heart, and when I think to myself, well, what do I really want out of wrestling? What do I want fame? I used to say I want the biggest stage possible to spread my message. And that was where, like, I have to get to AEW because WWE doesn't want what I do. They don't even answer my emails. They do not want what I have to offer. So it's got to be AEW. I got to get there. And I realized after this event and what happened, I don't need to spread my message. And I don't want the whole wrestling world to know me. I want to know them. And I want to tell my truth, and I want to see who out there relates to this, who out there connects with my honesty, my truth. And I want to tell my truth through performance art, and that's where I'm at. And so if I get a big stage to do that, amazing. I'm all for it. If I have to continue doing it on small stages and independently as I have been for the next 10 years, I'm happy with that too.
So how has the current stage been for you and Jervis here? I mean, are you often able to work the same shows?
We've been doing that for quite a few years, actually. There would be times when, I would come out and I would grapple, and then I'd send Kevin out there later.
And I might grapple. A few years ago, a lot of people don't know this, I was a minority owner in Wrestle Circus, an independent company that ran out of Texas, Austin. And during that time, I was one of the most hated people on the show.
And then at the same time, I was one of the most beloved. So, I got hugs and well wishes and streamers thrown at me. And then alternatively,
they would throw trash at me or boo me or, whatever else. I mean, it was Austin. Those people are kind of wild. But in reality, it was an extremely rewarding experience because I had this. I was able to explore the duality of just of man in general, but also of myself.
Well, very quickly here, Jervis, we have about 2 minutes. Actually, I should ask you, Kevin. So you said that you were trying to help Jervis here. You were trying to protect him. But my question to either of you is Jervis, maybe you should be helping Kevin, because it sounds like he's a pretty despicable person outside, inside the ring.
Well, that's a good point. And Kevin has done some despicable things. If you go back and watch some of his matches, he's not always acted nicely. And everyone in their lives has moments that they're not proud of, and they do things that maybe make them feel guilty or ashamed. And I'm there, especially in Kevin's private moments. I'm there to remind him that, hey, there is something good that you can do out there. And you do bring some good to this world. And even when you're feeling bad and feeling down and feeling like you don't have much to offer, remember, you've got me.
And I'll say this about Jervis. There have been times, because I am not a stranger. I have had experiences with mental health that, some people will never face in their entire life. And it's been a long, long haul. But there have been times where I've driven to shows covered in tears and just, self-harm, all sorts of a mess. But when I get to the show, I get to, and they heal it. The audience heals me, and we connect, and we relate to each other. And for at least the next 2 or 3 days, I feel all right.
Well, hold that thought right there. We got to head to a break. Back in a moment, everybody. Wrestling Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Jervis Cottonbelly joining us here today alongside Kevin Condren. We got about 90 seconds. Let's get some social media plugs, Powerbomb, pizza, and more.
That's right.
Thanks for tossing me, Bryan. We are going to be opening in 2022 the country's first national pro wrestling themed pizza restaurant. We have 12 Hall of Famers signed on to lend their names to menu items. I am partnering, my company, Kitsch Data, and I are partnering with Pro Wrestling Tees and Ryan Barkan. And again, we've got 12 Hall of Famers listed, Mick Foley being one of them. Everybody look out for Mick. If you're a pizza shop owner and you'd like to carry this brand, we are going to be a virtual brand, delivery only, and we would love to work with you. But on top of that, who doesn't want a Kevin Nash's Big Sexy Sausage Pizza when you're watching AEW on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays and whatever else, right?
WWE, yeah. Anyway,
Powerbomb Pizza is coming soon.
Also, you can check me out for Control Your Narrative. It's EC3's project. And there's a lot of wrestlers there. I'm telling a nice, fun story about, again, the duality of man. Find me there. And today at Prestige Wrestling in Las Vegas, I will be live at 6 p.m. So I hope you see us. Oh, sorry, Pride Style Pro. Prestige will be in a few months. And on top of that, follow me at Gentleman Jervis, Jervis, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, etc., etc. And Bryan, I just want to say one more thing. When times turn tough and skies grow dark, always remember and never forget, Gentleman Jervis still loves you.
Oh,
and I love you.
Jervis.
I love you too, Bryan.
Thank you. I love you both. I hope only for the best. At Gentleman Jervis up there on Twitter. Grab your Kevin Nash Big Sausage Pizza, Powerbomb Pizza coming soon. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And
I still hate your ass, Bryan.
Oh, get out of here, Mike. Jervis, you need to talk to Sempervive. He's a horrible person.
Oh, Sempervive, you deserve some love, too. Next time I see you, I'm giving you a warm hug.
Yes, Kevin and Sempervive should team up together. Anyway, we're out of time, everyone. Thanks so much for listening here today. Mike, as always, callers and listeners over to the studio. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.